Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Critical Podcast. My name is Jimmy Good, and I'm but one of your hosts. And joining me, as always, is my go-to podcast compadre and co-host, Mr. Joe Lieber. Joe, how are you doing tonight, pal?
I'm feeling pretty good. How you doing, Jimmy?
I'm just fine. Joe, on a scale of 1 to 10 of goodness, how would you say that you're doing?
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I'll give her a strong 5.5.
5.5? That's not very good. That's great. Hopefully that elevates.
It's been a long day, but I'm looking forward to the podcast. We'll put it that way.
Well, good. Well, we're not going to get super crazy with this, but thanks to all the Legionnaires who've showed up for the 82nd time, I think it is. And for everyone who's joining us for the first time, thank you so much. We talk about movies, TV shows, comics, all that good stuff. We're talking about a lot of trailers this week, because we had a lot of stuff drop. But first and foremost, Joe, I've got some really bad news. I know it's gonna rip you apart.
No, I want good news first.
No, there's no good news this week. None. But Universal's Dark Universe, the Mummy kicked it off and whatnot. They released something discussing the next movie in the franchise or this series, Bride of Frankenstein, which Angelina Jolie is attached to. And this is the statements that they put out. Brace yourselves. After thoughtful consideration, Universal Pictures and director Bill Condon have decided to postpone Bride of Frankenstein. None of us want to move too quickly to meet a release date when we know this special movie needs more time to come together. Bill is a director whose enormous talent has been proven time and again, and we all look forward to continuing to work on this film together. Basically, what that says to me, Joe, is that they're going to push this thing off, and we might be canceling the Dark Universe after it barely begins, as its first foot, down, but the rest of this seems like it's kind of falling apart at the seams. What do you think? What do you make of this?
I feel like they're banking too much off of the big name actor bullshit.
Yeah, that's
Excuse my French. I know this is a G-rated podcast. No. But yeah, why are they banking so much? Oh, Tom Cruise. Not that I hate Tom Cruise. Oh, but we got to get Angelina Jolie in this one. I mean, the big name's going to bring the people to the movie theater. I don't really give a crap.
Yeah,
exactly. Like Man of Steel. I went and saw Man of Steel. I had no clue who the hell Henry Cavill was.
Sure. Well, that's just because you like Superman. It's not because you want to see this certain actor.
I also like horror and monster movies. Love them.
Yep. Well, I know that Johnny Depp is supposed to be I think The Invisible Man, and it's Javier Bardem was going to be Frankenstein's monster, and they had all these movies, but it was more here's the name of the creature plus the superstar.
Javier Bardem.
He's the guy.
Yeah.
You remember
He was the bad pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah. Jack Sparrow. That guy.
That'll be pretty good. I like that choice. It's not like he's not well known, but he's a very quirky isn't the right word, but his demeanor and accent and just the way he is, I think he's gonna lend himself really well to a role like that. Johnny Depp is the Invisible Man. That could work out pretty well. Angelina Jolie is the Bride of Frankenstein. I don't understand how you can make a full movie off the Bride of Frankenstein. I don't really get it.
I don't get it either. It just seems kind of weird. This whole the things when they talked about launching this Dark Universe, The Mummy was interesting to me. I don't even know if Wolfman's been confirmed, but they talked like Creature of the Black Lagoon and then Bride of Frankenstein, Invisible Man. I was these are kind of weird monsters to put to have meet up together or maybe team up or something. It's
I don't know. Creature from the Black Lagoon, I'm all right with.
Yeah, I just don't know how you. I don't know if that's legitimately still happening. I don't know if any of this is still happening because Mummy did really well, I think, worldwide, but domestically it did not do well at all. So I'm just not sure if this is going to happen, and there's a good chance that the Dark Universe might already be dead, which is kind of it's unfortunate.
The dead universe.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just you try to do that world building and that universe building so hard in that first movie. It's just don't. Yeah. Just don't do it. It's just unfortunate. It's really too bad. So, and in other news this week, Tyrese Gibson was tweeting out or talking on Instagram some smack about Dwayne Johnson, saying that they're postponing the the next Fast and Furious movie to 2020 because of his spin-off film Dwayne Johnson is doing, The Rock, with Jason Statham. So Hobbs and Shaw from those movies are going to make kind of a spin-off and do their own thing, and then they're going to make another big Fast and Furious movie. How do you perceive this as a good thing? Do you care? Like, that's my question. You're more of a Fast fan than I am.
Yeah, okay. I'm a Fast fan because I just like the cars and stuff. We've joked about this before, and I think we went and saw a Fast movie together, Jimmy, and we went in with full drinks, and halfway through the movie they were empty because we played that every time something unrealistic happens or they defy the laws of physics or he says, I ain't got friends, I got family, we took a drink, and I had to pee halfway through the movie, and I was empty on my drink halfway through the movie. So I'm only a fan for the cars, really. There are some cool moments. Sometimes I enjoy the music in them, but they're fun. Let's just put it that way. I don't think they're like high. I mean, there's budget there, but it's not like you go in there to take the movie too seriously. It's more of like an entertaining type of deal.
Yeah, I think it was Fast 7 that we went and saw together because we were both just like that one was like they're superheroes in this new one too, but that one especially I was like, wow, I think Vin Diesel drives the car like 2 or 3 times just off like just a sheer cliff face and just like puts his hands on the ceiling with the roof of it. He's totally fine. He's just like, he gets out and you're like, what?
But the spinoff thing, so 2020, that's 3 years from now. I think it's okay. If I was Tyrese Gibson, I'd be like, oh, all right. So Hobbs and so The Rock and Statham will go do their little spinoff. Keep the palette. What's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Keep the palette.
Cleanse?
Maybe cleanse the palette? No, I'm thinking keep the palette wetted. Keep the palette.
Whet the appetite, maybe?
Keep the appetite wetted? I don't know. You can't properly word this.
No, you can't. But Tyrese tried to, and I wanted to read this Instagram because it's pretty funny. So he put a picture up that says hashtag F9 April 10th, 2020. That's what he has for there right now. But he said, hashtag PSA, congratulations to At The Rock and your brother-in-law, aka $7 producing partner, blah, blah, blah. And like you, DJ, even if you call, I will not be deleting this post. Good night, folks. See you in 2020 April. Hashtag Fast Family, right? Nah, it's about hashtag Team Dwayne. Hashtag 3 years. Will it be worth the wait? Hashtag No Shaw. Just Hobbs. Will this be another hashtag Baywatch? Guys, just relax. I'm just a passionate film critic. Like, I think Tyrese doesn't have work for a couple of years, so he's just like, why don't I get a spin-off movie too? It's like,
yeah, I don't know. Can you take that guy too seriously? Not really.
No, that's because that's all he is in those movies now. He's just a joke. You watch Too Fast, Too Furious, he's kind of cool, but like now it's just like he's just screaming.
He's the wussy one, the one that screams. They got to force him into every plan they do.
Yeah. I'm just not it's just weird. I don't really care too much. I'm excited about the spinoff, though. Honestly, for me, this is more interesting than any Fast film has been because I like those two characters, and ever since I saw them fight each other, I thought, well, first off, I think The Rock, he gets one good hit on Statham, it's over. But I think they'd make a great film together. It's kind of like a buddy cop, like international assassin film. Like, The Rock is the straight man, and Statham's always like, why don't we just kill him? It's just like Rock's like, no,
sure. Sure, but I mean, overall, so I feel like this film will be a good hangover for people, something to whet the appetite and keep it there, so that when Fast 9, 10, how many?
It's 9.
God, when are they going to stop? Eventually, enough is enough, I think. And they need to
10.
start over with something a little more original. But anywho, I feel like it'll be something to whet the appetite just enough for people to be really jazzed for that 2020 movie where it's going to be like, oh, Fast and Furious is coming back. Oh, man, I'm kind of jazzed for it because it's been a while. People aren't so fresh off the most recent one. Because let's face it, if things are really year after year, every year, 2 years, you got a movie coming out constantly. It gets a little boring, right? Like, seen it once, seen it twice. I've seen it enough. that kind of a deal. So I think it's better to, pace it out a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think kind of doing a spinoff like this, maybe they're trying to kind of follow the Star Wars format where they kind of do one of the main like saga and then say like, hey, we'll do a spinoff and try to get other people in who might not be interested in this, or just something completely offshot that we can kind of get people to generate a little buzz that's kind of very different than maybe what people are used to. I don't know.
Quite frankly, yeah, I think so too. And quite frankly, I think Mr. Tyrese here doesn't have too much business sense because he's not thinking, okay, this is just going to get people more jazzed for the real deal, right? It's a little spin-off, and it helps expand your franchise. It draws more attention to your franchise. Come on. It's only going to help you, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe that's the thing too, is that I can't speak for him, but it does seem kind of like he's envious that, The Rock shows up and he's only been in it for a little bit and he's kind of already getting his own thing. The Rock is just a big star. People really like him.
Well, he's a bigger name right now, period.
Yeah, exactly. Even if he doesn't make as many good movies, not that Tyrese is making a ton of great movies either, but.
Yeah, it's like Brad Pitt or Tyrese Gibson. Brad Pitt, Tyrese Gibson.
All I'm saying is, like, if Tyrese is worried maybe about money or whatever else, just be settled in the fact that you are in a franchise that they will just keep making more of, and that's maybe the only one you'd have to do if you were intelligent about it for the long haul. You could be like, I work once every 4 years, just like live my life. Like,
for a full year.
Yeah, exactly. Just saying, man, unless you're buying like gold dipped jet skis or something, which you shouldn't do that. It's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea. The gold means nothing. Paint them.
As you pull out of the pier, it's already half the value. Anyway.
Well, so, dang it. I had a good point. I had a valid point. Well, The Rock and Statham were putting a good word in for Tyrese. Like, hey, we should bring him in for a cameo or a good feature. Like he helps us in the end. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah, I know that also the Fast and Furious franchise has had some issues. I know that the actor who plays Letty, whose name escapes me right now, I think Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah.
I think you're
right.
But she spoke out about saying about like equal pay for women and more women in the Fast and Furious franchise, and that it needs to change and evolve if it wants to continue. And I definitely understand that too. So they need to really shake things up, shake it up. As it were.
Paul Walker would be rolling over in his grave. He's like, no, that's not what Fast and Furious is. We're sticking to our guns. We're sticking true to what we are because we're a family.
I wonder if we'll see a reboot in our lifetime, Joe, of Fast and Furious, where it just goes right back to street racing, like purely street racing. Like it won't be all this craziness. And they're just like, we're just going to take it way back.
No kidding. Think about where it started. It was just street racing, like purely. It was very grounded, and a car jumping here and there, a car wreck here and there, but it was more pure and legit. Now it's just like, we're gonna see if we can get them to the outer atmosphere of the earth in a car, and then they're gonna come down the earth, and it's gonna be a water vehicle, and they're gonna drive it to land, and then they're gonna shoot that thing and then fly back into the water, and yeah, we're working on the ending, but it's gonna be something like that.
I'd like to see that. I want to see how nuts they can actually go with it to still try to be like plausible. I know obviously that they haven't been like that for a while, but the whole like just seeing how far they can push themselves, because they have to constantly outdo themselves in these movies, which is so fun to watch.
I can't believe it hasn't been done yet. It kind of has, but I feel like they really need to do a spoof on Fast and Furious, that entire series. Do like a spoof film.
They have done it. Remember, I think we saw it on Netflix a long time ago. They did like a spoof that was more so like around the first few, not like the newer stuff. The newer stuff, the problem is like if you want to spoof it, you'd have to go with such a crazy budget to make the joke that you had a crazier budget than they did. Like it'd have to be like an SNL thing where they're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we just came out of the outer atmosphere with this plane. We got launched from the space station. You know what I mean? Like they'd have to.
SNL did do something with The Rock and Vin Diesel. It wasn't Vin Diesel, it was just The Rock. And remember, he plays Bambi. And he's like, I'm Bambi, motherfucker. and he walks in, and then they introduced some others. I forget what the characters were, but one of them was supposed to be Vin Diesel, and he was dressed as the rabbit. And he's like, They call me Thumper because I'm always thumping. You gotta look it up. The Rock SNL Bambi skit. It's great, and the guy who plays Vin Diesel is like, I mean, it's funny. I like Vin Diesel. I think he's all right. Yeah. Anywho, all right, tangent done.
A true classic as it stands. Anyway, moving on from all that magical fun news, which is just, we love it so much. We're going to talk about some trailers this week. So we're going to get into Star Wars: The Last Jedi, Pacific Rim Uprising, and Justice League. Now, I'm going to link the trailers down below, so you should definitely watch them if you want to see that. We're going to talk about them, and there will be spoilers because the trailers are kind of spoilers themselves. So if you want to skip over them, there will be timestamps down below too, so you don't have to like I don't want to watch Star Wars. I don't want anything about Star Wars. I understand. I appreciate it. But what we'll do, we'll start with Pacific Rim, we'll do Justice League, and then Star Wars. So that save the, Star Wars is kind of the biggest and best. I think like the biggest and craziest trailer, maybe. I don't know. Pacific Rim might be pretty big too. Anyway, Pacific Rim. Joe, did you like the first film? Did you like Pacific Rim?
You know what? Transformers on steroids a little bit.
Yes.
And I mean, it's great because it's just a lot of robots fighting.
Yep, pretty
big
much.
monsters. And stupid. I mean, if you really think about it, it's all just kind of, I don't know. If you're a highbrow moviegoer and you appreciate good films, this movie is kind of mediocre. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't really, I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. It's entertaining because you get to see a big-ass robot fight a monster, and that's about the best of it, I think.
Yeah, well, I think it's unapologetic in that it knows what it wants to be. It doesn't try to be anything more than it is.
That's true.
So
that's true.
Yeah.
I think the monster interactions and kind of the like, hoorah, we're gonna fight them kind of a deal. Was Gale? Say his name, Jimmy. Del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, thank God you can do it. I'll just go with Del Toro for now. Guillermo.
You don't have to be like, it's not like hurting. You're like, Guillermo
del Toro. Anywho, it does give you a little bit of Hellboy vibes, although I appreciate Hellboy a little bit more. You know, it's a little bit more of an intimate film, good character relations and building. But these Pacific Rim movies, I mean, they get a little cheesy at moments, but I do like the premise and the large monsters and the action of it. I really appreciate that. So, who brought the cat in here?
I don't know. It wasn't me.
Oh man.
Okay, so now for me, I like that first one a lot, but I was like, I don't know if they're gonna make a second one. I wanted them to, and now they're definitely doing it. It does seem like just more, just like you look at like the last one, and they had like a few of these Jaegers, and now there just seems to be a lot more of them, and there's just like the monsters are even bigger and all these things, and the weapons, and they're a little bit crazier, and it's a little bit kookier. I think it's a little more anime or cartoony, but I think that's not a bad thing. I think if they try to take themselves more gritty and dark and realistic, it just would go completely out the window as far as like your sense of disbelief, or I should say suspension of disbelief. But I don't know. I think the trailer was fine. I know that John Boyega is kind of taking up the role of Idris Elba. He's like his son, I believe, and he's just kind of, I'm going to cancel the apocalypse, kind of thing, which is fine. But the premise just of it all is just kind of nuts. I mean, you look at like, there's like, oh, you have to have these two people together in this thing to pilot this gigantic robot, and you're like, that just seems like a design flaw, honestly.
Yeah, no kidding. What I don't know. It's like controlled. It's not controlled mechanically. It's controlled by motion sense. But then there's the mental thing. Like you have to think we're doing this. So like in order to get the swords out, you got to think it. Like swords out, and the machine knows that. I don't know. Screw it. It does seem like a design flaw. And can you imagine? I mean, think about this. Think about like an excavator. It figures I'd talk that because I'm in construction. But think of an excavator or like a piece of heavy equipment, a wheel loader for scooping dirt. The engine in there, it's powerful diesel engine, high torque. You have hydraulic pumps that need to pump all this fluid and be able to create enough power and force to move 2 tons worth of dirt. You know, I mean, it's heavy, right? So now think about this giant machine, giant, making intricate movements like a human, only scaled times a million. Huge.
Yeah.
The amount of power it would take to make those intricate, high-speed moments is ungodly.
Joe, it's the future. It's the future.
I know. It's just amazing to think about. Like, if something like that could ever exist. Is it even possible? I don't know that we could create enough energy ever in one central spot at that scale. You know what I mean?
Well, I think the one in the first one, it was like a Russian
nuclear,
one. Yeah. So I don't know if that's sustainable in any way, especially like a moving machine like that. But again, don't think about the semantics, or don't think about.
I gotta though, like the technical specs of it all. Like, okay, it's nuclear powered. What was the name of that one? Oh, I had a name.
Russian something. All I know is it's like Godzilla. If you start to think about it, it's like Godzilla like would collapse in on himself. So like even the biological creatures don't make sense. Don't think about it like that. Do you like that there are 2 arm blades? Because it's like, you know, the sequel. So it's like I got 2. I was like, there you go. Like,
it's cool. I mean, it's cool in general. It's like taking Power Rangers Megazords times a million, you know, and
totally what I was thinking.
Making them cool for once.
Yeah, well, I was thinking they all like kind of line up at the end. I'm like, dude, this is like Power Rangers or something. They just all like in their own little Zords. They're like, all right, let's go. But I enjoyed the scale of the last one, and I think it's going to return here. But it's hard to know. They're like, oh my god, look at this like new one, this new monster, and it just looks like it's hard for me to know how much bigger that one is compared to the other kaiju. So,
really freaking big.
Yeah, well, and it looks there were some returning people, for sure, like the scientists who I kind of liked in the first one.
Yeah, the guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, the guy was like, it's weird to see him as a scientist. I'm like Charlie Hunnam or whatever. No, not Charlie. I'm thinking of the guy who was in the first one. I'm thinking of he's just Charlie Day. That's who it is, not Charlie Hunnam, who is. I don't think he's in this one. Is he? I don't think so.
Yeah, the guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia is in this.
Yeah, no, I meant the guy who play from Sons of Anarchy.
Oh yeah, no, not the guy from Sons of Anarchy. He's like, no, I'm sitting on my money from Sons of Anarchy. I don't need that stuff anymore.
He's like, I'm sitting on my sweet King Arthur cash.
Oh yeah, right, because that did super well. It's legitimately try and do this and go. It did really well, and try and shake your head no. It's like so, and
it's hard to do.
Your body's just like, no, that makes no sense. Why are you doing that?
I will say this though about the trailer in the beginning, because they kind of like cut in between like a shot and then black, and then like with the music and stuff. I thought that was pretty effective. I kind of liked that, you know, as far as like trailer composition goes. But then later on, they're just like, is that the one where they're like, we're going to war? It was like a rap song the entire time. Like, we're ready for war. And I was just like, this is just Assassin's Creed, Kanye West. I'm the hand of God. Acting like a bad guy. I'm like, oh. God. Please no.
Don't you? You know, here's the thing about this movie, Jimmy. I know it'll be entertaining. I will probably watch it when it comes out for rent or on TV. I don't think I'm going to the theaters for it unless I have like a down day where I'm looking to kill time with the bros, sort of a deal. I would never take my girl on a date to it. Nothing of that nature. Like I savor the really high quality, well done movies for occasions like that. But it's like Transformers. You know, I've kind of lost my taste for Transformers. The first 3 were okay. The first 2 were okay, and then they start petering off, and I lose interest. But I still go because there is an entertainment value there. Like, it's kind of a high voltage, gets you a little amped up. The cars are badass. You know, there's a good looking girl in there now and again, that sort of a deal. But so you can appreciate it for that. And the cars. Did I mention the cars? Oh my God, the cars. That's about it. You know, you don't go in with high expectations because you kind of know what to expect. You're just like, let me see the damn robots fight, all right?
Sure.
Yeah, make that car go screaming by on the highway one more time. I want to see, you know, so that's kind of my approach to this movie, and just let me see the monsters fight each other.
Exactly, and it looks like they're fighting other Jaegers. I don't know if like the monsters took over the Jaegers or if there's like a bad Jaeger. They kind of show a lot, like they do in Transformers trailers. They show a lot of the plot here. But I guess my last question for you, Joe, is like, where on the hypometer, man? 0 to 100 degrees. Where are you? Where do you fall?
I'll give her a strong 75. Like not quite warm enough to go to the beach and tan, but warm enough to wear a t-shirt. You know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I would say I'm probably like a 60 or 65. It's
wow,
all right.
Very conservative.
I'm very conservative. Also, man, I'm getting really sick of some of these trailers, man. Like some of the music. I know this isn't going to be part of the movie, but it really takes me out of it because there's like this is supposed to be like a world-ending event, and it's just like it's pretty cool that we're all just like sitting in these big robots blowing up cities. It's like
you're right. You're right. They should have gone for a different vibe. Yeah,
well, the first one did a really good job of that, even showing. I forget the name of the lead, the Japanese woman who is like one of the, they show her as a little girl being saved from a kaiju attack. Like that whole sequence is really good. It really affects you. And I remember seeing that in the trailers and thinking like, wow, it's kind of a big deal. Now it's like, it's kind of fun and cool and everything's all right. It's like,
yeah, no, I'm convinced the only reason they're bringing it back is because Idris Elba made the first one.
Yeah, maybe. And it made enough money, just enough money.
Oh, I think it's got quite the cult following. I know at like some of the cons and stuff that there's a lot of devotion to it.
Yeah, yeah. I can see why. Guillermo del Toro did a really great job with the first one. So,
all right, it was good.
Next trailer, Joe. Justice League.
New now trailer. We're talking. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty. All right, lay it on me.
All right. So that opening sequence where it's good old Clarky standing out in the corn, like we know him to do. He loves the corn. He loves to stand out in the corn.
It's beautiful, man. It's picturesque.
And then good old Lois walks out there, and he's like, "Yes." And she's like, "What?" And he's like, "You know, I saw you're wearing the ring at his funeral." And then she wakes up because it was just a dream. So I'm thinking in my mind, like during that whole sequence, there's like a Superman hole in his chest in a box. And he's looking through the box, like the coffin that he's in, and he's staring at Lois, and he's like, if only I could reach out and say, like, hey, baby, I'm not dead. Like that, the beginning of this trailer just feels very strange because of that, because they're teasing Superman. And throughout the trailer, they do kind of tease that he's going to come back, but we all know he's coming back, you know? Like, is that ever a question? No, it was never a question. Even at the end of Batman vs. Superman, it's like,
I don't want him to reveal how he comes back, though. We kind of have an inkling there at the end of the first trailer, but I don't want him to reveal anything yet.
He's gonna save Batman. He's gonna save Batman in like one moment. There's gonna be like a killing blow, and then like a hand is gonna catch it, and he's gonna be like, "Sorry, it took me so long." Or Bruce will say like "What took you so long?" You kind of thing. You know, be like,
I hope it's not that cheesy, but
I'll let you start in a second here, but I've got two more big complaints. First off, Cyborg still looks really bad. I'm so sorry when he's like flying with Aquaman, which feels weird to say, flying with Aquaman, and he's kind of talking to him. And Aquaman, I didn't think it was possible, dude. He is the ultimate bro. I was thinking before, I was like, maybe I was too harsh on him. He's only had a few lines. Everything he says is like, he's like, yeah, let's do that. All right, okay. He's always
like the Kool-Aid, man.
You throw him at something, he's like, oh yeah! He's just explosions everywhere. It's like, what the heck is going on? Like, I can't take him seriously. I mean, he's supposed to be the king of Atlantis, but he's just jumping around. He's having a good time, and it's just like, I was dying. I love you, Gal Gadot, and your Wonder Woman, but she's like, invasion. And it's like, and then it shoots to Bruce, and he's like, I think it's darker than that. And I'm like, okay, so not only are we just doing the Avengers, like the plot from the Avengers, they're making it seem like it's an even bigger deal. And she's like, people are risking their lives, but they're just having a good time. Flash is cracking jokes.
Hey, for a second, don't compare it to Marvel. Pretend Marvel doesn't exist. Don't think about Avengers or any of that crap. Don't think about it. Don't apply that or compare.
Okay. It's nice seeing them work together at the end, but they only do it for a little bit. But besides that, man, I don't know. It just looks like it's just a Zack Snyder 3.5 hour, just like, look at all the pretty imagery. Like, that's all it's going to be. I don't think this movie's going to have any heart. I really don't. I'm sorry. It's just like from this trailer, I'm just like, the only heart that it has is depending on how Superman gets reintroduced. That's all. That's all there is, because the Flash is just kind of jokey. Cyborg does not look super great, and Aquaman's just kind of like, whatever happens, happens. Like, guy dressed as a bat. I dig it. It's like, I don't know. I'm just not. I want to be more excited. Joe, this is the Justice League. They should be better than the Avengers. And I know you say not to compare it to them, but like they should be the epitome of like almost all superhero like groups. And I'm just not excited about it. Plus, knowing that Ben Affleck is kind of like checking out, it's like, why should I get excited about Batman being cool? Because he's just gonna be like, peace. Like, like I'm worried that he's just gonna be like, this is the last time we're gonna see him as Batman. And that every time I see him and like making a joke in this movie, I'm gonna be like, you're done, aren't you? Like, just check it out. I don't know. The trailer's fine. It just shows a lot. Yeah. I'm just not excited. The villain doesn't look like anything different than like what we've seen like in Wonder Woman and in like Batman vs. Superman. Just like a gray, angry person that every time he lands, everything explodes. Like, it's like, that's... All right, Joe, you go. Please tell me what you thought of this trailer. I want to know what you think. You're watching it right now. You're watching it right now, aren't you?
I might be watching it right now just to refresh my memory, because I watched it with like minimal sound the other day. I think you might be pleasantly surprised. I think you have your doubts now, but from the vibe I'm getting, I think it's going to be okay. I like that they're introducing a little bit more of a light, like it's still dark and gritty, but they introduce a little bit of lightheartedness where it's appropriate. Like the Flash, I think, is a good addition to the team. I think he's going to have a bit of that banter. Same with Aquaman. I'm a little worried that they might go too bro with him. Like I hope he has his like King of Atlantis kind of more serious tone moments. But I also I don't know. I got to see how he's introduced. From what I can tell, it's like old world fisherman's village type of deal. But like Cyborg catches him after he stabs one of the flying parademons, and he's like, "You're not done yet," or something. Cyborg tells him, he's like, "My man." I'm like,
I know exactly. I'm like.
Like I don't know. I'm a little nervous about that. I still love the aesthetic and the design that they took with Aquaman, but you don't see a lot out of Wonder Woman besides the whole invasion, and she takes one guy off of Batman's car. But I don't know. The look of it all is pretty good. Cyborg, I agree, might need a little work. I don't know.
Yeah, he needs work, man. It's just not going to happen. He just doesn't. It looks just. I just think it's not good. It's just not good. I'm sorry. And Cyborg's a tough character to do the techno and the organic like stuff like that. We'll see how they attack with like Cable and stuff in Deadpool too. I'm interested to see how they tackle that. But his is so much more complex. Like it's so much of his body.
Exactly. And unfortunately, it's not Iron Man where it's just a whole shell.
Oh gosh, yeah. That you go back to that first Iron Man. That suit looks sexy. Like that's a good looking suit. Like every time Iron Man looks like the design they made for it, like when he's walking away when he blows up that tank, he looks just like intimidating and real, and just like he's got like the scorch marks and stuff. You're like, all right, yep, pretty good stuff. But yeah, I'm just not sure. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited to see Superman come back. I'm excited to see these guys fight together. I don't know if I'm really connected to any of them besides Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's the only one I want to see because like she's great.
Yeah, true. I'm excited to see Aquaman. I'm indifferent on the Flash. I don't care, and I'm excited for Superman's return. Inevitable. Anywho, so the things that rub me wrong with the trailer, I don't know. Number one, it pained me to see who was playing Lois Lane again. Like I had almost forgotten, and there she was again.
She's always a focal point too. Even in a Justice League movie, it's like,
yeah, like lady, get the hell out of here. Why'd you even audition? Who chose her?
I was talking about this with the Legion today, Joe. It's not that I dislike the character of Lois Lane.
No.
It's that I dislike the choice of the actor for it, because Amy Adams to me was the best. Like in sometimes they want to be called actors, so actor, actress, whatever.
Yeah.
In Enchanted, she was perfect. But now it's just like, I just don't, even if you dyed her hair and made her look just like comic book Lois Lane, I just don't think she portrays a good Lois. And I think, especially with what DC's been doing with Wonder Woman, kind of making, trying to do their best to make strong female characters, I'm just worried Lois gets in this and she does the exact same thing she did Batman vs Superman, where she gets herself in trouble like 3 or 4 times. And it's just like, yep, the only woman we have in here is Lois. And now it's like, at least Wonder Woman can show up and be like, yeah, you need to not be here. Like, I know you miss Clark, but you gotta go. Like, so
yeah, who saves her?
I don't
Clark's
know.
not around to do it. They don't give a shit.
Joe, what if she gets in trouble because she's covering this event, and that's how Superman shows back up, is because he saves Lois? They can't, right? It's a Justice League movie. He has to help the team. Like, he can't show up to save Lois. Like,
I hope he saves Wonder Woman.
She doesn't need saving, man. She's
damn it. Yeah, she's a freaking god.
Oh my gosh! You just say the word like Steve, and she just like like.
Yeah. Oh, what's her real? Oh, Diana. Yeah. So, Diana, I don't know if you knew this, but my middle name is Steven.
Loses her mind. Yeah. What do you think about the joke at the very end where Flash kind of says like, "Hey, it's the bat signal. That means he's like,
I thought it was all right. They do similar things in Marvel stuff, so
I know, but he did the same thing on the last one too. Like,
yeah, they're kind of playing off that one, but maybe they're not showing off all the other stuff that keeping it behind closed doors.
Yeah,
so
yeah, he's just striking me right now like they want him to kind of be Spider-Man. I know Flash is kind of a jokester, but just the way he kind of comes off, I'm just nervous that he's going to come off too nervous and twitchy and making jokes like this, and nobody's going to laugh at it. Like the whole team, every time he makes a joke, they all just kind of look at him like, all right, whatever. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm nervous about this film. It was nice to see this trailer and see a little bit more, but at the same time, for me, hypometer, I'm not going to lie to you, 50 degrees.
Lower than Pacific Rim 2?
Yeah, because here's the reason. There's a lot more to lose with this one, Joe. Pacific Rim 2 doesn't matter to me. If it's bad, it's like it just goes away. Justice League, they have to like either restart or try to build off that, and I just feel bad for Wonder Woman. Like, honestly, at this point, I'm just like, why just do Wonder Woman 2?
Yeah, you created a great character, and you can't recast her because she's great. And if you did, I feel like people would be angry.
Yeah.
I just, I'm not, I was more concerned about Batman versus Superman than this one.
Yeah, that was such a cluster, and they're trying to set up so much.
But you're right, there's so much more to lose in this one.
Well, how do you feel hypometer-wise, man? Tell me.
My hypometer's still freaking blazing hot, man. Like, I'm cranking up the AC, rolling the windows down at the same time. So I'm somewhere in the mid 90s.
Oh my gosh, look at that. All right.
Maybe 98. I'm excited, but yeah, there's no doubt in my mind I'm cautious about it and I'm a little nervous. But this is something being more that I kind of tend to veer to the DC side of things as opposed to Marvel. I'm super excited. So, and these are all the characters that I really like and appreciate. And, and especially after Wonder Woman hitting it home with such a great showing, I'm hoping they have more of those aspects in this film. But yeah, so yeah, hypometer is high just because I really have an appreciation for DC. But that doesn't mean that that's going to be the rating I give it. So
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. But, the things that stood out to me that I hated, Lois Lane character still bugs the hell out of me. Oh, I hate it. The intro's fine. I just didn't like who I saw in it. And then I like the music. The music, as opposed to like the rap in Pacific Rim, the music in this one was pretty cool. I liked it. And then, the environments. That was it's kind of astounding, but also confusing at the same time. Like they take everything, like you can tell that Steppenwolf kind of just like destroys the entire place and the atmosphere, and it's like everything's very red and almost like they're on another planet, red clouds and lightning, and you almost don't recognize much. So I'm curious to see how that plays out in the film. I'm worried it might be a little bit of a blur because of that, you know,
Yeah.
maybe too much CGI.
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh, that's for sure
yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah, so that's a concern. I'm wondering how the Amazonian women are featured in this. Like Steppenwolf arrives at that. What did they have in that tower? There was something in that tower that he might have came down.
Yeah, there might be a weapon or something there. Like he went to Themyscira to go and get it or something. I don't know. Or this battle could have been waged a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, maybe it's already. Yeah, right.
I'm just telling you, for that specific battle, I just don't know. Because, like, this movie, there's the chance because they keep doing so much in these films where it could span a lot more time than just, like, a week or something. It might be, like, multiple years.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm just curious as to how they're involved at all. But, yeah, in the whole the parademons.
Yeah.
I don't know. They look a little odd, but then again, how can you complain about them? I mean, you saw an alien race come to New York City in Marvel, so
No, we can't compare it to Marvel, Joe. We can't compare it to the
I know,
Chitauri.
but in this way, it's a comparable thing. Yeah, comparable to the Chitauri. I mean, it worked there. Why can't it work here? The one difference is that that was in a real city, kind of brought it to reality a little bit, made it feel more plausible. Like New York City, it's happening.
On a sunny day, no less, and no, like, clouds or anything. It was just, like, them out in the daylight just punching people
No
and
kidding.
snapping
And
necks.
there, things were recognizable, you know, and very real. Here, it's going to be all red clouds and lava cracks from the hammer swings from Steppenwolf and stuff. So I'm nervous. I might have talked myself down on the hype meter just a little bit, but I'm still really excited. I think it's going to be beautiful, but you got to take it for what it is. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. You know what else we'll see, Joe, coming up here very shortly? New Star Wars film. Star Wars The Last Jedi had a trailer, and there's a lot in it. And even though I kind of wanted to go into this movie, not media blackout, I had seen the first one that we talked about that one a while ago. But seeing this one now, I think there's something in it that I really appreciate in a trailer. It's not about deception, it's about misdirection. Because they do a lot of cuts, there's a lot of talking over the top, a lot of holding out hands and doing stuff like that. We just don't know necessarily where any of this stuff takes place.
What's happening?
Chronologically. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think is in a good trailer for a big movie like this, because when you look at Justice League or maybe Pacific Rim, you can kind of say, all right, there's the first, the second, the third. At least with this one, you're kind of like, when is this all taking place? It seems like it's going pretty quick, besides the Rey training stuff, which is at the very beginning, probably. You know, like all this other stuff, we don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of like, is Kylo Ren going to blow up Leia? Like, you know, Snoke is finally there. He's like attacking Rey and all that stuff. And Luke might be fighting Kylo, or they might be doing a flashback. Who knows when? Lots of pretty colors, like lots of reds and blacks and blues and things like that. And yeah, I don't know. It got me excited, but I'm interested to hear what you think, Joe, coming into this trailer.
What is Star Wars?
Oh yes, classic Joe doesn't know you. What is a star? What, are the stars themselves fighting? Are they two large suns who are smashing into each other multiple times?
They're so far away. I don't understand. How do they reach each other?
How can I watch a Star Wars without going blind?
Yeah, like what kind of glasses do you need for this? God, imagine if somebody just had no clue. You just said, "Oh yeah, Star Wars." They'd just be like, "What?"
Literally would have to live under a rock at this point. Like I don't think you could go anywhere without.
Oh well, no kidding, no kidding. But no, it looked cool. It looked like a lot of impactful moments and very gripping moments from what I got. Even with all the cut, you know, a lot of cuts, but
crazy editing right there.
Yeah, some moments with Kylo Ren, some big significant moments with Rey on the island and her Force abilities, that type of thing. Luke Skywalker being back in the fold is kind of cool. Although I know nothing about him. Apparently he got his hand cut off, poor guy.
Yeah, at one point. It happened off screen. Not a big deal.
It was a filming accident.
Oh my god.
Lightsaber broke and the glass shards.
My shameless co-host, everybody.
And then yeah, oh no, that big goblin looking guy with the ears and the frog face ate his hand off.
What?
The funny one, the one tall, lanky, funny guy with the floppy ears.
Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like something he'd do. Sly son of a bitch.
That would have been great. Oh my gosh, that's if you want to send your fanfic or art to us, please, our PO box located down below. Okay, so obviously, like you said, there's a lot going on in this one. Yeah. One thing I will say about this, Joe, just because the budget's there, talking about they kind of use their own score to kind of accent, that's why I think it's so much more impactful. It allows me to focus more, I think, on the trailer itself, which I like. That's just how that works. But
sorry. Yeah.
I was gonna say, is there any character in general, like for you, that you're like, wow, I want to see more of that character? Is there anybody that you pick out, even if you could just tell me their physical description if you don't remember the names?
I'm not that bad, Jimmy. Kylo Ren, to be honest, I like the whole kind of at a battle with his inner demons, still a bad person, but you can kind of see that glimmer of hope there. What decision is he going to make, especially with those cutscenes? Is he going to blow up Princess Leia? Like he's aiming right for her? He's going to blow her up? I don't know. It looks like he goes on a bit of a cool rampage, and I'm kind of excited for that. He is arguably a very powerful force to reckon with. No pun intended.
Still a good pun, though. Still a good pun.
So anywho,
he took off his helmet and he smashes it into the elevator or whatever. He's all angry. He's throwing more tantrums. He's back with more tantrums. Tantrums 2.0. He's just so angry. He's like, I'm so frustrated. But he doesn't kill people like Vader used to. He just takes it out on the inanimate objects, typically.
Apparently that's a problem. Vader should have told him, you got to kill somebody every time you get in a tizzy.
Was not alive for that, unfortunately. Poor old Vader. It's close. No cigar.
Vader was around. If only there was a Vader. Then I'd be like buying my ticket already for the movie.
I know, that's like, when's that movie coming, man? Like, good God.
Like Vader returns from the grave, or
no, just like the Vader
reanimate his body.
I've talked about this so much. Just give me the 2-hour Vader hunting Jedi movie, in between 3 and 4. That's all I want. Like, seriously,
do you think they'll ever do like a thing like, coincidentally, everybody wants Vader back. Well, guess what? We saved his conscience in this jump drive.
No, I don't think they would.
Back as a crazy cyborg.
Well, he was already anyway. No, he
already was kind of a cyborg, but he was still biological.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think they would do that. They would probably just do a spin-off like Rogue One and just do like a full movie just devoted to him, as opposed to that.
In the modern day stuff, he's still dead.
You can't really bring him back because he has a Force ghost of himself. Now, this is going to piss off a lot of people, but just bear with me, all right? Spoilers here for Return of the Jedi.
You've pissed people
got
off.
20 or 30 years to watch. Anyway, end of Return of the Jedi, Joe. This is episode 6. So he shows up. They show like the ghosts of Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi because they're both dead. And then he shows up as an adult. Darth Vader does in the original version. So no one kind of really recognizes him because but everybody kind of know it's basically Anakin before he became Darth Vader. So he's kind of like an older guy. However, when they did re-releases and some kind of tweaks and stuff, the Force Ghost was now Anakin. So it's like a blue Force Ghost of Anakin Hayden Christensen, like a younger version. So like he died more or less as a Jedi when he was like in his early 20s. And like, so Vader wasn't him. So when he came back as a Force Ghost, that's who he is now. So they can't really bring him back in that way because like it'd be like the spiritual force ghost of Vader, which would be kind of separate from Anakin now, maybe. It's very
what?
strange. Yeah, I
No,
don't know.
no. You gotta. I'm sorry, but we got time. It's a podcast. Take a step back. I couldn't even keep up with that. Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen in Return of the Jedi.
Oh yeah, well he actually wasn't in it originally, but he was in Revenge of the Sith. You know, the guy with the longer hair or whatever. They basically chopped him and put him that image of Anakin in to a remastered version of Return of the Jedi, the sixth one, as opposed to the actor they had playing Anakin or Darth Vader at the time, way back in the 80s. So they took that character out, that older guy who played him, and put in Anakin when he was younger, and that pissed a lot of people off because they're like, wait a second, that's not what I'm used to. Like, I remember that older guy being him, but now it's Anakin standing there with Yoda and Obi-Wan. Like, they kind of photoshopped him in, basically, to this little scene, as saying, like, this is Anakin the Jedi who learned to come back from the dead in a ghost form, as opposed to Darth Vader as, like, an older guy. So, does that make sense? Kind of like a through line, like a narrative kind of through line, kind of like thing.
Sure.
Yeah, I know, it's not. It ain't perfect. It ain't perfect. People are pissed. But yeah, I don't think they could bring Darth Vader back like that. His spirit lives on in Kylo, though, kind of. Except he's not as intimidating, and he's kind of lanky, you know, comparatively. Like they didn't need to make like a Darth Vader 2.0 and make him just like he's like I'm super huge.
But here's the problem: is Darth Vader had a helmet like that he never took off. Like that was him.
Oh, dude, very good point. Kylo, like, to see, like, later on with Rey, just like he'll take it off. I'm like, no, leave it on. It makes you scarier when you leave it on. Like,
yeah,
you know.
like, do you want to seem ominous or you want to seem like a little bitch?
Exactly. Only take it off when you're talking to your dad on a little catwalk over a gigantic, like, that thing's not up to code. Am I right, Joe? There aren't any railings or anything. Like that thing, people shouldn't be walking.
No kidding. OSHA would have a fit. A fit.
Star Wars OSHA, SWOSHA. Just like, what's happening?
Coincidentally, Death Star, all our ships, they got shut down because of these catwalks are just unsafe. We got fined out the wazoo. We're out of funds.
I hope
now rich.
I hope there's somebody like that in the galaxy who showed up to like Starkiller Base and they're walking around and they're like, so you say that this could target 5 different planets at the same time. My question for you is, where are the safety regulations? Like it's like walking around.
Like none of your outlet boxes had covers on them. None of them. I mean, anybody could walk up, stick their finger in there, lick their finger, stick it in there, and die. The catwalks, guys, they're like 2 feet wide. How do you pass each other? You just fall off. There's no railings.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's like I'm gonna dock you for that. I'm gonna dock you for that. I'm gonna dock you for that. And they're like, we should kill him. And I'd be like, well, if we kill him, they'll just send another one. It's just like, we can't. Just let them do it. Let them do their thing.
I saw some guys back there welding together some pieces for your Star Killer here. None of the cords were taped for the right season. None of them. Where are your inspection logs? Have you even checked any of those?
I was talking to one of your engineers. He said he hasn't had a break in 2 weeks. All right, there's a union around here somewhere, right, guys? I mean, this isn't my job, but seriously, like, you guys are gonna have a problem.
That's it. I'm putting my foot down. Where's your union rep?
Exactly. I want to know who's the project manager on this thing. I mean, on this area right here. Okay, just goes on and on. People would hate that movie. Anyway, Joe, hypometers. Star Wars: Last Jedi. Does this make you want to see it anymore? Less? Same?
Yeah, you know, I thought it was well done. It was impactful. It seems like there's some really suspenseful type moments that happen throughout. I'm probably almost, if not, I'm more jazzed for this one, the newer age version, than I am the what was it, Rogue One, right? Mm-hmm. I'm more jazzed for this one. The only thing about Rogue One that got me jazzed was Darth Vader. That's it. So without him in the equation, I'd say I'm on par with that. So I'm feeling the heat. I'm probably about a good 80. I'd be at the beach,
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm probably at about 85 myself. I was expecting this to just be Empire Strikes Back, like a retread of that, but I don't think it's gonna be. I'm hoping it's something different. I just want to be surprised. And I will say that shot of all the AT-ATs, those big walkers that they kind of start off with, or earlier on in the trailer, that was really cool, and I thought that was really interesting. And that fight is going to be really, I think, pretty and colorful. However, they did kind of double down on some of the CG craziness. They have the little Porg thing next to Chewbacca, the little guy who's like, which is just made to sell toys. And then they had that like Arctic fox looking thing that looked fake AF.
The fox looking thing did a little bit.
Fake,
we'll
it's
wait
fake.
to judge till the movie.
Fake,
yeah.
We'll see.
But the little whatever that little thing was screaming on the dashboard of that Honda Civic was kind of neat looking.
The Millennium Falcon. Joe's like, it's a Honda Civic.
Oh, is that what it was? The Millennium Falcon? Yeah, I hear Honda's renaming the Civic. They're going to start calling them Millennium Falcons.
Copyright infringement's coming down hard. Disney just bought Honda. Yeah, I'll say 85 for now. 85 for now. Yeah, a lot of trailers this week. Joe, is there a favorite trailer of these three that kind of comes to mind to you? Is there any of them that stood out more so to you?
I gotta admit, the Star Wars one was probably the most well done trailer. Maybe even for most slightly more exciting than Justice League. And I feel like there's more confidence there in that film, obviously. But yeah, Justice League's kind of up my alley, you know? I like the whole Doomsday thing, and I love me some Wonder Woman kicking ass and Superman coming back to put it in the can.
You meant Darkseid, right? Not Doomsday. Doomsday's gone.
Oh, sorry. Damn it.
Yeah, that's okay.
What do you mean Doomsday's gone?
Well, yeah, he'll be back. Yeah, I want to see Doomsday again, but not though. Anyway.
Oh yeah, Doomsday. I'm thinking so this is Steppenwolf. Darkseid. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
There we go. For me, I guess I would say objectively, I think maybe Star Wars might be the best edited trailer. There's a lot there to it, but it has a lot more to build off of and a lot more it's got probably the biggest budget out of any of these. Also, I think just maybe entertainment-wise, I think that's the one that got me the most because it asks a lot of questions or presents a lot more questions, whereas Pacific Rim was like, here's how it's going to go, and Justice League was just kind of, here's how it could go, and I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I'm excited for these movies still, at least for the most part. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right, Joe, time to move into the next segment of the show. But wait, before we do that, let's take a moment to salute our commander, Jonathan Larson, our $100 patron over on patreon.com, our very good friend. We thank you so much, Jonathan. We appreciate it.
Salutes, Jonathan.
And as Jonathan likes to say, their fate concerns me. Yours does not. Man, one of these weeks I'm going to get that perfect. Just not this week. If you want to see how to support us, check out over patreon.com to see how you get a cool avatar just like Jonathan. But now, Joe, it's time to move into the part of the show that you like to call, and I like to call, we like to call...
Timekillers.
That's right. It's time for Timekillers. The games we've been playing, the movies we've been watching, the TV shows we've been viewing. Joe, what have you been killing time with, pal?
I have been killing time with lots of Destiny. And guess what I got back into lately?
I could guess, but it probably is more fun if you just tell them.
Oh, yeah. I've been getting back into some Overwatch, baby.
Yeah? The Halloween event's just starting off.
Yeah. It started off tonight?
Yes, I think so. Or today. Something like that.
Son of a bee. Dang it, we got to get after that, man.
I know. We'll get it. Well, I mean, at least you'll get after it. I just feel I love Overwatch, but I feel like I'm burned out on that game. I really like it, but for me, I got to play other things. Maybe I could pop back in once in a while, but it's just like, there's too many games out there right now, and I've spent like a year and a half playing it, and I've logged over 120, 30 hours in it. I'm just like, for me, it's just like, I need something more, for now. But, when they add another character in, I'll probably be back in to try it out. So, Doomfist just...
What? Go ahead.
Doomfist just wasn't as good as I thought. He's fine, but
he's fine. He does really well in like the mayhem mode that I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I got back into it. I almost prefer playing it almost purely mayhem mode. Nothing but.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of fun. It's harder to kill people, but it's just the freaking mosh pit, and you're not constantly just making your way back to the payload or the point. In fact, I think they're all payloads. But which is refreshing.
Sure. Yeah.
But I love that I don't have to wait for that cooldown every second. Like I'm just constantly whipping out the chain with Roadhog and healing and smacking people in the face. But obviously it takes a little bit of the strategy away from it too.
Yeah.
So take it or leave it. It's about a horse apiece, but I still love it. You know, the buff to Roadhog's great. I love playing Roadhog a little more now, even in just standard quick play and competitive. But yeah, it hasn't lost its flair for me.
Cool.
I don't like the team deathmatch, by the way. It doesn't work well.
Yeah, just there's some characters are just better at it, and it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
On my end, though, Battle Chasers, been playing a lot of Battle Chasers Night War, still working on that review, playing a bit of Destiny with you guys once in a while. And I've been finishing up Frasier for maybe the second time ever. I don't know. I started like kind of in the middle or at the end and it's kind of finishing up. But Blacklist season 4 is on Netflix. I've been watching that. I basically just watched for James Spader. Like I've talked about it the last few weeks. It's a good show for that guy alone. I would just watch just seasons, which I have just for him. He's the only reason I watch
that show.
It's a good show, dude. Everybody should check it out. It's a crime show, but it's just a little bit fantastical where like everybody they face off against is just like a little weird and quirky. So it's not very straightforward stuff. And plus I like this whole idea of like following the kingpin of this criminal underworld, and he just has like these infinite resources. But yeah, it's cool. It's really cool.
I forgot to add a couple things on my list. I've been listening to a lot of the No Sleep podcast.
Oh, yes.
No Sleep, one word. David Cummings is the producer, creator, I guess. It's really well done. I enjoy it. It's kind of menacing and relaxing to listen to. And the stories are frankly just flat out interesting. And yeah, they're horror stories. It's a horror podcast, kind of like Halloween, spooky stories, that sort of a deal. And they're really enjoyable. So I've been listening to them at work on my iPhone and just plugging away on work and just all the while being entertained as I do it. So if you're into horror and, you know, being at October Halloween season, check it out. It's worthwhile. You'd like it probably. So that's there was something else, Jimmy, that I had to lay down for Timekillers, and I'm forgetting what it is.
What could it be?
What was it?
I don't know. I feel like we've talked a little bit, but I can't think of. You been watching anything on Netflix lately?
Oh yeah. It was. I've been watching Fuller House, and I'm embarrassed to say that.
Did it?
I never watched the original Full House.
That's even funnier that you're watching this. To me, anyway.
I enjoy it a little bit. I think like the kids in that show are pretty well done. The boys especially.
Do you like?
I like
Jackson.
Yeah.
I don't like Jackson.
I mean, I don't care. He's all right. He's a little like doofy.
Yeah, dude, that's such a good word for him. He's a doof. Like
doofy. But the little kid, I forget his name. See, I don't even care about their names.
Max?
Is that his name?
Wait,
Max? No. Yeah, Max.
I think it's Max. Right?
Yeah. That kid's got to be like 20.
I know.
Just he has some sort of disease that makes him look young. I don't know. Like what's that show? The Benjamin Button.
I think about that every time. Yeah, I think about that a lot. Like it's like old man baby, like kind of thing.
Yeah, it's good. Sometimes they push the envelope on the whole. Like I just watched the Thanksgiving episode, and Uncle Jesse leans over and says, "What does he say, Jimmy? Do it."
Well, they're basically talking. They say at one point, huh? I was gonna set them up. Yeah, I was gonna set them up because they're all sitting around the table, and the DJ's giving thanks for everything, and she says, "And we pray or whatever. We hope that gosh, I want to call her Mary-Kate and Ashley, but that Michelle is doing well in New York, and that she'll join us next year." And then like Jesse, they shoot from this shot of the stagnant shot of like this table, shoots to Jesse, kind of leaning back in his chair like this, and he like looks over, he's like, "Come on, it'll be fun." And then he kind of like leans back in, just to kind of like a nod, like, "Hey, come on, guys, come back to the show. It's fine." They didn't do that. They did that in the first episode of the first season. They did that in season 2. They do not do that in season 3. Like they don't make jokes about Michelle really at all. They don't talk about her
She
at all.
probably threatened to sue.
Well,
If
Mary
you
Kate,
mention me one more time in that damn show.
it's just so weird because that's like where they got their start, and like even if they haven't acted in a while, they could still like, just like show up or just take a picture with them or come to the set. Maybe they have done that. I don't know. But anyway, so you've been watching season 2 of Fuller House?
I believe so. So I just saw the Thanksgiving episode. The next one was the kid was growing some sort of sustainable farm thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And they brought the band back. What was it called? Something Girls,
Oh,
Girl Talk.
Girl Talk. Yep, Girl Talk. Yep.
And it's like a throwback to one of the episodes in the original series. It's just so like would never happen. Like what kind of adult women would ever do that bullshit?
They're the wolf pack, man. They're the freaking
sure. Oh, and by the way, that house, the picture from the outside, the inside would not be that big. That house is freaking huge.
Joe, you only see half. I mean, like maybe the wall where the camera is. Maybe that's the wall. You ever think about that, man?
Even still, that house is monstrous, like ginormous.
I think they've made a joke in this series about how like the steps and the stairs don't make sense or something like that. When you like run upstairs, it's kind of like, wait, what? Where am I? Like, I have to go up, and it's very odd. Anyway, there's like 3 stories, and yeah, it's odd. Yeah. It's odd. But so, why are you watching this? Is this just for fun, or did your lady?
No, there's a little bit of entertainment, and I don't have to think about it. So I get home at night after work, I can just sit down, have a bite to eat for dinner, and I don't have to think about it.
I completely agree. I just binge watched this like the 3rd series, and it's just like I could turn my brain off, and it's just like, yeah, it's just kind of fun. It's light.
Yeah, like, it is. It's light. There's nothing too serious to take into account, and I do find myself laughing out loud from time to time. Time to time. Let's not get carried away. But anyway,
yeah.
So I've never, mark my words, I've never seen the original Full House.
So it's not like a nostalgia play for you when they kind of joke about old times. You're like,
no, I don't give a shit. Like I've never seen it ever.
That's so funny.
So
they gotcha.
Yeah. So I
does it make you want to go back?
Because wasn't it only on cable? What channel was it on?
No, it was on. I think it was ABC. I think it was an ABC thing.
Yeah, okay. And was it like a Saturday morning type thing, or was it like every weeknight?
I think it was a weeknight thing. I think it was kind of a bigger deal back in the day. Like I think it was like one of those network big shows.
Okay, so like Modern Family kind of a deal?
Kind of, yeah. I think
was it every weeknight like that 70s show?
We think about it like cable, Joe, because it kind of was like Nick at Night, or they'd start playing it on the cable channels. Like they just do like, we're just showing like 4 hours every night, a full house, back thing. Does it make you want to go back and check out the old ones?
Maybe. Can you even do that anywhere? I'm sure online there's something, but
I wonder if Netflix made a play to get all those, because they know that if they could get that, they could be like, all right, now we've got like a lot to work with. And it's interesting to see those kids like legitimately grow up on the show and then see them come back to be on the show again and to play those roles. True. Like it's like I really respect I think the 3 leads, they do a good job of taking the place of what the 3 guys did in the first series, Joe, like with Danny, Joey, and Jesse. They kind of fit those roles with DJ, Steph, and now Kimmy. And I think Kimmy, the actress who does or plays her actor.
Yeah, is that girl, does she have a mental slow issue?
No, she's just like she's just a weird person, I guess. I don't know.
Super weird.
Yeah, she's always been
dropped on her head a time or two.
And I'm sure they've made that joke plenty of times, but I think she does a great job with that role. I think her and Stephanie, those 2 back and forth, very Jesse and Joey is basically what they are. So,
true. Yeah. So I don't know what the girl's name is, what the girl who plays Stephanie, what her name is, but
Jodie Sweetin, I think it is.
Yeah, I remember somebody mentioned something about her. It might have been you, or I know Haley saw online because she was interested in the characters and the actors and actresses, but she had like a major drug problem, 3 husbands, 3 kids, or something like that.
Yeah, she went through a rough time. I think she even wrote a book about it. Which is kind of interesting. But to see her come out on the other side like this and like she's doing well now, like that's impressive. So I respect it. I think that's a lot of it kind of plays into, and I'm not going to make excuses for her, but I think a lot of those child actors really get into bad like spots because they're just so young and they get so much money, and then it's kind of like it's just
and
weird.
then pressure from so many different people and people you don't know well enough to trust, but you do anyway because whatever, I'm a big deal, you know.
Yeah, but I respect that she came back and she wanted to be on the show, and it would be interesting to see. Maybe they would look very strange being on there now. Michelle would, or Mary-Kate and Ashley, I should say. But I will say this, and I stand by this, and I say it all the time. I don't want to see Bob Saget or Dave Coulier on there anymore. But if John Stamos could be on the show all the time, I would love it. And I swear, I don't know what he's done, but he looks better than he did back in the day. I don't know how he's done it. He looks fantastic, and he's delightful. Like, he's still got it. Like, that guy's still crushing it. Like, every time he's on an episode, I'm like, this is a better episode. Jesse's here. Like,
yeah, right? Yeah. That's true. There's something about him. He's got a bit of a charisma to him.
Oh, yes.
Unfortunately, he reminds me of my Uncle Jimmy a lot.
Well, it's a classic Jimmy thing, to be charismatic.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to be really mad, but Haley said that you remind her of Jackson, or Jackson reminds her of you.
Thanks for that, Hales.
Something about the mannerisms and the way he reacts to things. Oh, wait, no, was it somebody else? Him or somebody else?
Or Max, maybe?
It might have been Max.
It might have been Max.
Because of the more logical responses and this, the very eloquent mannerisms and stuff. I think that might have been it. So
I'll take it as a compliment. Max is an interesting individual, and I think he kind of carries a lot of that
I think
show.
so too. I agree. Yeah.
Quick side note: what do you think of Kimmy's husband Fernando and their daughter, whose name escapes me? Mona. Ramona.
R-A-M-O-N-O.
Do you like Fernando? Is he too over the top? I kind of like him, but at the same time, he's kind of a villain. Once in a while, he's a good guy but a bad guy.
A little bit. I think he's awesome. Yeah. I think he's totally. I mean, look at him and then go look at a picture of Luke Bryan. He is the Latino Luke Bryan in the flesh.
Okay. Well, I to be honest, later on when you watch him, he can sing and dance too. I think that guy, he might potentially be one of the most talented people on the show. He's got a lot going. They have to hold him back. I think he goes out there and he can just dominate. He dominates every scene anyway. But you put against Max, and those two kind of butt heads, and you're like, okay, the two leads almost in a weird way. But
yeah, for sure, the most talented duet there. So,
do you like him? Do you like and Ramona? Do you like those two?
Yeah, and Ramona's all right.
Yeah, she's all right. I keep thinking her and Jackson that. Not that would ever happen, but I always keep thinking that they're gonna hint at a thing because they're not related.
I mean, it's kind of there, but it's totally unspoken. I don't know what happens towards the end, but
yeah, nothing yet. Final question: are you Team Steve or Team? Matt, thank God, I couldn't remember his name.
Steve is such a freaking weird ass douche.
Wait, what?
Just buzz off, bro.
Why is he? Wait, what? What's bad? What's bad about Steve?
What's with him always eating?
Dude, that was sorry. Okay, that is the thing. Back when he was a teenager, he would walk into the Tanner household, say hi to DJ, go immediately to the fridge. He would always be getting these gigantic sandwiches, and he'd always be eating something. He was always hungry, so that's why he's constantly oh, food. I love food.
Okay.
So that's why it's an on-running joke that's been going for 20 years.
Okay. Yeah, he's annoying.
Yeah, you don't like Steve? You're not a Steve fan?
Not Team Steve.
See, and I get why if you just got into the show, you might like Matt better, because Matt's the full package. The guy's he's great.
Yeah. I'm thinking logically here. What's best for DJ, right?
DJ, she's just such a pretty lady. Got the world at her fingertips.
I never would have guessed that she'd end up looking like that. By the way.
Oh, from when you see the older because they do flashbacks.
They do flashbacks, and I never would have guessed that she'd end up looking like that.
Yeah, I know. You look back at the 1980s, late 80s, early 90s, looks too, and it's really big and crazy, and now it's it's just different. So yeah, you're right. But she's all in every Hallmark movie, along with Lori Loughlin, I think, Jesse's wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're on like a ton of those. Like that's their like wheelhouse now. Is like they just do those besides this, and I'm like, all right, good for you. I'm surprised that Fuller House, has done as well as it has. I mean, we're at 3 series already, or 3 seasons, as it were. They're only like 8 episodes apiece, but honestly, if they made them 20, I'd watch them all. Like, I wouldn't be fully committed. Like, it's like they have like baby moments of drama, but the rest of it's just like crazy circumstance and like figure it out. But however, Joe, it used to be way schmaltzier and way more like at the end of every episode. And they kind of joke about this in season 1. But back in the old Fuller House, there was always a lesson that they had to learn. Like the kid would do something bad, and then all the dads would kind of get together and they'd play the music, and it'd be kind of sad, but then it'd be better. They don't really do that with this one as much. So it's not as pandering, I think, in that way. But it really is like it is nostalgia hunting for like every other episode. They're like, yeah, New Kids on the Block, or they do like this old like 90s thing, let's play Twister, and it's just like, guys, like it's just unabashed, just like, look at us, we know what you want, you're paying for this, you want to remind yourself of the old days. It's like, all right, okay.
I couldn't help myself.
What have you done? Did you look at a mirror or something? Ha ha!
That's even funnier.
Thank you.
Okay, DJ and Hallmark movies. Nothing wrong with that. Don't ever tell anybody. But Hallmark movies can be okay. There's your really cheesy, horrible ones, and there's your somewhat decent ones. Yeah, Eddie. Okay, off of the Fuller House topic. It's all right. It's a good laugh, and you don't have to think too much and all that. I like it.
Here's the premise for every Hallmark film. It doesn't matter if it's Christmas-based or not, even though they do a lot of Christmas ones.
They do.
Two beautiful people who just can't seem to get together, and then they finally do and kiss at the end. That is how every one of those goes. However, even though that might not be the most exciting or entertaining thing all the time, it's just like a nice warm, blanket. You always know what you're gonna get. There's no surprises. It's not like I will ask, like my mom, she'll watch some of these things, and I'll be like, is there ever just like an ending where it's like somebody runs in and like with like a gun, and they're like,
it's the same thing. My mom watches the heck out of them, especially Thanksgiving and Christmas time.
Oh, sure.
And I'm just like, all right, whatever. I'll sit here and play on my phone and try and enjoy this with you. And some of them are okay, but yeah, they're pretty like cliche. You know what you're gonna get. And the thing that bugs me is like they're filming a Christmas movie in the middle of summer.
I know they do that. I think about being on like the Hallmark Channel movie like crew, and like what's that like? And they're just like, well, yep, today we do the the big like liar revealed scene, and then tomorrow they're gonna kiss and we're gonna rap. You know what I mean? Like it's just like just follow.
I would always feel like I have to be in the Christmas spirit or something, but I can't because it's like.
But Joe, you don't have to be in the Christmas spirit because there's a lot of Hallmark Channel movies that you can watch any time of the year, like The Good Witch, maybe. We are not sponsored by Hallmark. However, I think it'd be hilarious for the very first sponsor of our show to be Hallmark, because there's just like some sort of very weird ad in the middle here where I was starting to go on and on about how I just love, again, Lori Loughlin in these things or something. Yeah, I'm not against you, Hallmark. You do good work. People love you. And also, you air Golden Girls and Frasier, 2 of the best sitcoms of all time. So, good work, Hallmark. You're doing good work. All right, Joe. That's enough of Time Killers. Let's get into community feedback and questions. I asked a very simple question to our Legionnaires, Joe. It was this: which Gen 1 Pokemon starter is best and why? We got a lot of responses here. It's killing me. It's killing me how many responses we got. So,
why?
And why? I had to get it and why. So Gabrielle sent me a picture of like that little chubby cat with little beady eyes, but it looks like a Bulbasaur. Like it kind of looks like the hand-drawn one that you've seen on things. And she said, Leaf! ! And then she said, I don't have a good reason. Bulbasaur is just my favorite aesthetically, and I love grass types. That's pretty good. That's all right. Ryan, what did Ryan say? He said something else. Oh, yeah. Ryan said, I would say Squirtle, good defense, and just awesome. That's a good one, too.
And just awesome.
Night Warrior 29, originally he said Charmander, and he said the other 2 are useless, but then he went on to say move-wise. In their final forms, Charmander has many powerful ones, while Blastoise has just Hydro Pump and Venusaur Solar Beam. I don't know if you can fight for that. Triflesaurus Rex says, Charmander, because of his final form, he looks the coolest IMO out of all three. That's a good one, too. And then we got a really good one here from Bulbagonda, who you'll never guess who they like the most. Bulba has the best stats of the three, very versatile, more useful, and the best one competitively, and the long list goes on. Whereas Charmander might only learn Ember and Flamethrower at level 44, Blastoise has larger move pool, and Solar Beam is not the only move for Venusaur. Also, it doesn't matter. There's only one gym that is weak to fire. Having too many moves for no good use is a waste. All right. This was from at Bulbagonda. I respect that. Joe, do you have a favorite? Is there a Gen 1? We probably talked about this before, but do you have a favorite one out of the three?
Okay, so Pikachu doesn't count? Technically a starter.
Technically not a starter, only in like yellow, and they just force him on you. It's Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or Charmander. Oh, also, I forgot to say, at Ariel Pig or our friend Friendly Merlin sent me a video of the Bulbasaur song from Pokemon, which is looped for 1 hour. So it's just Bulbasaur's going on and on for 1 hour. I did not listen to all of it, as one would imagine I would not. So there you go.
You didn't listen to the whole thing?
It's the same thing. Anyway, Joe, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite? Mine's Charmander. I just like Charmander. He's always so cute. And I like fire types. And I like eventually having a dragon.
Yeah. Dragon all the way, because I'm trying to picture. So what happens if you make a Pokemon real in real life? So
you gotta stop doing this.
No. Who am I gonna freaking pick? Listen, I'm not a cartoon. I'm flesh and blood here. So if I'm going to pick a Pokemon, it's real life. That freaking Charmander sitting right there. It's gonna look somewhat like a, let's say like a giant salamander with a flame tail, right? Only it stands on 2 legs. Next, I've got Charmeleon.
No, you got to go Squirtle and the Bulbasaur. Don't think about you just got to pick the one from the get-go.
Yeah, I'm picking Charmander. You follow my logic here. So okay. Charmander, a giant-ass salamander with a flame tail that stands on 2 legs. Next, Charmeleon. Picture a Komodo dragon with a flame tail and a little bit of a horn on the back of its head. Stands on 2 legs. Next, freaking I don't even remember his damn name.
If you remember Charmeleon, how do you not remember the last one?
Charizard, yeah, because I like Charmeleon the most out of all of them. Anyway,
thank goodness.
So Charizard, final form, Game of Thrones dragon, done.
You like Charmeleon most? Interesting.
Yeah, I do. Because he can actually fit in the house. The other one's got to fly around and shit. But once I get the final Charizard form, it'd be like I would be like Daenerys on Game of Thrones, riding around on my damn dragon, beating shit up.
Cool,
right?
Man. Yeah, sure. I'm not familiar with goats.
I've got big plans. Big plans. I'm gonna rule this world.
I hope Game of Thrones just ends in all fire. Anyway, so now we get into the questions part, and this is a really funny little thing that Jorn Evers did. So basically, what he did, he sent us a tweet by Gabrielle Heisboots as his question for us to ask. So the Heisboots original tweet, but Jorn Evers asked this question, so we're going to give it to Jorn. But he asks us, why does my hair only look good when I'm lying in bed at night with no plans to go out? #Critical Podcast. Joe, why does your hair only look good when you're lying in bed with no plans to go out? Is it because you don't feel like you need to try and your hair feels relaxed and most comfortable?
That's probably true. Yeah. You're not forcing anything.
Is that it? Is that? I jokingly told her it was going to be the main topic of the podcast, but I think it's just when you don't try as hard.
Wait,
things are easier.
Hold on, rewind. I just got some news on the old cellular device. Anywho, can you rewind it for me, please?
Yes. Why does my hair only look good when I'm lying in bed at night with no plans to go out? Why
Who
does
asked
it?
this?
Well, technically, Heist Boots put it out as a tweet, but Yor never sent it to us as his question for the week. So it's pretty funny. I think.
Yeah, that's just how things go. It's like, the day is going to go slowly if you keep watching the clock. But if you don't, you try and keep busy, it's going to fly by.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing. If you have plans to go out, it's going to be a bitch to get your hair right. And you're going to spend the entire evening in the bathroom getting ready. But if you're just laying there nonchalant, no plans, nothing to do, you're going to look on fleek, right?
Well, the trick is you just have to not make plans at all and then just decide when your hair is looking good. You're just going to go out that night. Huh?
Exactly. Yeah. Or it's like this. You're still, back in the high school days. You're like, oh, man, it's supposed to snow real bad tonight. Hoping and praying for a snow day. But if you get ready for school the next day and you're all prepared, you're for sure going to get a snow day. But if you're hoping and praying for one and you're not prepared, you're not getting one.
Yeah, that's true. Good call. Good call,
Yeah.
Joe. Good call.
Yeah.
All right, next question comes in from Riley. He says, how long do you think the Switch momentum will last, and what could it take to either slow or keep it going? #Critical Podcast. Joe, I know you're not as familiar with this type of thing, but I'll tell you what.
Is there any Switch momentum, Jimmy?
Yes, there actually is. I would say it would probably taper off a little bit this spring after Mario comes out this fall. I think the big holiday rush, that bundle of the two things together makes people really excited about it. However, without Zelda or Mario coming out for a while, we'll wait till Smash Brothers or another big, actual big Metroid or Pokemon comes out before it'll get another resurgence. And everybody who wants to Switch,
get it, Jimmy?
Eventually, probably, but I have a buddy who said he would lend me his to play Mario and stuff and Zelda, so that's all I care about. I don't really need to.
How much is it, and are they going to come out with a Pokemon game?
I know the answer to the second question, but I don't know the first one. I think $299, $300, I think, for Switch right now. But they are working on a Pokemon game. That's what they said at E3, that they're actually working on a brand new Pokemon game for Switch, which is pretty cool. So once that comes out, then my hands will be tied, especially if it's Gen 1 stuff. If I could walk around in a world and catch Gen 1 Pokemon that are living out in their lives, Pokemon Snap plus Pokemon Stadium combined to a new, it's beautiful. Beautiful. And then when you're out and about, Joe, with your Switch Portable, if you it'll sense another trainer or something, and you're like, hey, you play Pokemon? Do you want to battle quick? And you can walk out in the hallway and be I'll be like, that'll be a little kid who just destroys me as level 100s, and I've got level 60s. I'm like,
and then afterwards, I'm just just wail.
Do not attack children. That is
okay now, huh?
Joe's not a representative of Critical Reviews. Anyway, question comes in from our pal Missile Mage. She says, "Echo Critical, you've talked about cliches and tropes you don't like. My question is, what cliches and tropes do you like?" #Critical Podcast. One cliche I really like. It's kind of a Deus Ex Machina, but we're talking about with Superman earlier. I love it when you don't expect a character, or maybe you do expect a character, to come in and save somebody in the 11th hour from a fatal blow, and they kind of stop them from a hand or a sword or something. It blocks them. The person's and they kind of look, and it's that person standing there, and they're like, just got here in just the nick of time. I love that type of thing. So I'm yeah, because it's just a good, just pump up moment. Let's finish the fight kind of thing. That's one of my favorite things right there. So one of the best versions of that might be the end of the Two Towers and having Gandalf show up with the Rohirrim and Éomer. It's just they all look up as they're as they charge out to die, basically. They look up and they're all there, and it's they're coming down the hill, and you're yes, kill them all. Man, beautiful moment. Anyway, Joe, any cliches or tropes that you love in movies or games or anything like that?
Yeah, cliches or tropes that I love. I think you hit the nail on the head. Some of those epic moments where it's you think all hope is lost, but then the goosebump moment comes and you're like, yeah, kill him. Lord of the Rings is a perfect example of that, and there's multiple examples throughout that series. But I think we've talked about this one. I also, I think made a reference in the last podcast, something that I kind of like with cliches is sometimes I like the romance factor. It adds another dimension to a film, and I appreciate that. I won't say I love it. I appreciate it.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. I can't really think of any more that I really enjoy a lot. But if I do think of them, I'll let you guys know. It's just there's so many. I think when we think of the term cliche, it's just because we've seen it and heard it too many times, we just hate it and we're like, ugh. But yeah. Interesting. Last question comes in from Ryan. He says, with Nintendo creating classic versions of consoles, what console would you want a classic version of and why? It does not have to be Nintendo. #Critical Podcast. I think for me, maybe the N64 or the PS2. The PS2 had so many things on there. There's like a bajillion games. If they made the problem is like if you only put 100 games on there, I don't know which ones you'd pick, but the PS2 would be really cool. But N64, even though I have the best games for it, there's still a part of me that'd be like, what else do they have on there that I could try out? But Joe, is there any consoles for you that you'd want to try out? Maybe like original Xbox or anything like that, or PS1?
You know, I don't know. I'd probably go back even older, like something like the what's that game, that asteroid game where you're shooting asteroids and you're just a little triangle on a screen. You got a joystick. Is that Atari or
Asteroids?
That's the game, right? That's
I think so.
said.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
sorry.
but was it on Atari or something?
I don't know. That's
Sega Genesis? I don't know.
I'm so bad when it comes to that old stuff.
Here's the thing. I never really had much exposure to video games when I was young. Like, I think I had a PS1 that I shared with my sister for like a few months till it crapped out or I got bored of it. And then I had a PS2 when I was in college. That was really janky and the faceplate was broken off. And all I ever did was play MLB with my roommate once in a while. And
that's all right, though.
Yeah, I don't know. And then finally I got an Xbox 360. I started playing with you and I started getting more involved with like the online gameplay, which was really fun. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good call. And that's all right if you don't really have one. There's just like we kind of got into a little more modern games, I think, or we started a little bit later, so it's harder for us to be like, they should make an older version of this one. But I don't know, one of these days maybe I'll get an SNES Classic and bust it out and try some stuff. But yeah. Thank you for sending any questions, guys. If you ever have a topic for the show that you want us to talk about for like the main topic of the show, or if you have a question or any feedback for us for like a question that we ask you guys for community feedback question, all you have to do is tweet the #Critical Podcast to either one of us. You can tweet @GoCritical, that's capital G or capital C, or you can tweet at my personal Twitter account, which is @JimmyGood013. If you want to tweet at Joe, you can tweet at
Lever_627. That's Lever just like Beaver, only with an L.
Very good, Joe. Well, one of these days that will
be right here.
Yep. Anyway, if you want to see us playing any of those games we're talking about, or maybe one day playing those, then you can check us out over on twitch.tv/critical reviews down in the link below. Streaming on Mondays and Thursdays, typically. Monday afternoon and Thursday afternoons right now, and then the weekends when I can. I want to thank a few different people as we go on here. I want to thank This Is Dale for our amazing theme music we get at the beginning and end of every show. And I want to thank the one and only Joran Evers, our resident cell pen here, the guy who does all the art for pretty much all the shows we have. And he also does a bunch of commissions, so if you're ever interested in getting some work done by him, drawing about anything, please just go check out @Niraj28 or @JadeCircleArt over on Twitter. But if you want to get some of his work and support us at the same time, consider checking out patreon.com/critical reviews, where you can see how you can support the Legion, try to get us up to a streaming schedule. That's our next goal. And just keep this train rolling. We really appreciate it. But if you can't donate, that's totally fine. If you could just share us with a friend, I just implore you to do that. Heck, just hanging out here like with us is a big deal. So we really appreciate that as well. So thank you so much, guys, for stopping by. Thank you to all of our Legionnaires who are here for whatever I said, the 82nd time, or to anybody who's new for the first time. We really appreciate it. We love hearing from you guys. We love talking to you guys about all this stuff. I hope you guys like my shirt. I'm all on brand today. One of these days, I'm going to get these shirts up. So if anybody wants them, I need to know. Please tweet at me and let me know. If you're like, I want shirts, please let me know these things. It's good to know. So thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, they are. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. And until next week, all I have to say is remember to adapt and overcome. We'll see you next time. Bye.